G'day legends, I hope that you're doing well and having a good day. Just a reminder to get out, do some exercise, get some sun. You'll feel better for it, and it'll improve your entire day. Now today we're going to talk about some drones that have been downed in Russia, some poles released by the EU, and some Russian Navy ships in the Black Sea. But as always, we will start with the maps. So here in the center we have Ukraine, capital of Kyiv. We have Romania, Poland, Belarus, and Russia. And here we have the Black Sea, and we have Crimea down the bottom here that has been annexed since 2014, as well as this area around Donetsk. And then the red we have since 2022, February the 24th. Now on the map, the area we're going to talk about and the area that is having the most fighting is Bakhmut. And what we're going to have a look, the map has only just updated in the last 40 minutes for myself. So we're on the 1st of March. And if we roll back to yesterday, the 28th of February, we will see that Russia has gained some territory in the north of Bakhmut. Now, there are reports that the situation in the south of Bakhmut has improved slightly, but in the north, the situation is getting worse and worse by the day, as you can see with this movement at the front here, with a Ukrainian soldier saying, if you don't burrow in, you die pretty quickly. Now, a friend of mine with some good information on this region says the remaining MSR, the main supply route, being this one here, is now under direct Russian fire control. Now, what is direct or indirect fire? Well, direct fire is used when the target is within range of the soldier's weapon on the ground or the system on the ground. Indirect fire is used when the target is not within sight. So what you're looking at is like direct fire. Say the most simple is you look down the sights of your gun, you see the target and you can hit that. Where indirect fire is, say, an artillery piece where you have a map and a table and you put the gun on this angle, at this trajectory, and you shoot it and it will land within that area or hit the target. Now, of course, artillery systems can also do direct fire if you can just see the target and shoot straight at it. So that's a quick rundown of what those are. But people have been commenting and saying that Russia now has the high ground in this area and is, laying fire onto this road. So I wanted to have a quick look on the topo map. Now, this can be a little bit more tricky to understand. So this is Bakhmut, this is Kromove, and this is the road. You can just see if I pull it away, the road comes just through here where my little hand is. And saying that Russia has the high ground in here is incorrect. As you can see, this is sort of bluey yellow. Bluey yellow, we're looking at 500 feet, where this road is on the high ground, maybe 702, maybe 750 feet on that, the high ground into this is Chasiv Yar. But the Russians will be in some of the high ground around the south of Bakhmut. There is some rolling hills in here, and as we've talked about, and the blue in here is between these rolling hills. So as far as people saying that Russia has all the high ground in here laying fire on this road, maybe in some areas, maybe down in this blue area here, but it's not substantial. But as we've talked about before, the reason Bakhmut has taken so long is the ability to have your artillery pieces in defilade positions on the backside of these rolling hills so they can fire out, but the trajectory may not come in. But Russia will have that advantage as well over here. But this map is good to have a look at, and if you disagree with me, it's worth having a look at. If you just Google Bakhmut topo map, it will come up. And as you can see, this high ground moving through from Chasiv Yar. And if we take a look at some of the Russian sources stuff as well, we will see that has the bulge here, similar to the deep state map, although they are showing on the Russian map a lot more ground to the west of Berkivka. And the ISW map is showing a fairly similar picture, we'll say, to both the deep state and the Russian sources, although this is only saying this is claimed control, but it is difficult to get a picture on what exactly is happening. Now as well, and that'll end our maps for today. Ukraine's Southern Command on February the 28th has reported that Russia has deployed additional ships to the Black Sea. Currently there are 17 ships, including 5 missile carriers and 2 submarines, according to the Southern Command. And this amount of ships can carry somewhere in the vicinity of 32 missiles, it's believed, of Caliber missiles. Now, the Caliber missiles have been used against military and critical infrastructure targets since the beginning of the war, said to have a range of up to 2,500 kilometers, and often news will call it a nuclear-capable missile, the same as when they'll say nuclear-capable bombers. And this is somewhat just clickbait, although everyone in the media has to do clickbait. It's just how the internet works. But you could technically say that my car is nuclear capable because we could strap a bomb to it. I know it is more than this, but without the warhead, it is just a regular cruise missile. But the nuclear word trends well. And we do talk about that Crimea could be cut off from mainland Russia with the Kerch Bridge, and then Russia would be relying heavily on its navy if Ukraine does drive that wedge down through Russian-controlled territory. Now, Russian sources are saying that Leopard 2 tanks are working around Bakhmut and Chasiv Yar, but there is zero confirmation of this and zero photos, and I highly doubt these vehicles are already in location, especially in defense, as it is well known these will be used for the upcoming offensives. And they've also claimed to have killed some Leopard 2s, but again, there's no photos, no videos, no drone footage, which, this war, you can watch this war unfold on your smartphone, from smartphones on the ground, from GoPros, from drones. So I highly doubt these claims are real, and some of the sources they're coming from are questionable at best. But Twitter loves this stuff and picks it up and throws it around. Now, the Kiev Independent has released an article stating today in an online poll that only 1 in 3 Ukrainian refugees in the European Union ultimately wants to return home. And at the same time, a similar proportion would like to remain in their host countries. And this is according to a new survey released on February the 28th by the EU Agency for Fundamental Rights, the FRA. Now, this has gone viral-ish on Twitter due to the headline, and I'll link the actual survey below that you can look at. Now, it's been conducted by the European Union Agency for Fundamental Human Rights, stating that the report captures first-hand accounts of 14,500 people who fled the war and settled in the EU. Now, this is still a small pool of people, considering that, according to the UN Refugee Agency, since the beginning of Russia's all-out war against Ukraine, more than 8 million Ukrainian refugees have left for another European country, and about 4.8 million have applied for temporary protection in one of the EU countries. Now, this has many variables, but the FRA Director Michael O'Flaherty says the EU and its member states enacted temporary solutions providing much needed support as the war drags on. We need to put in place effective long-term measures that allow host societies and displaced people to adapt to upheaval resulting from the war. I will link the paper released by the FRA below if you'd like to read it yourself, because it reads somewhat differently to a lot of the titles. Now, also, there's been a number of reported drones showing up in Russian territory, most notably in Russia's Moscow region near the village of Gubastovo. Reported by Moscow Oblast Governor Andriy Vorobyov, allegedly the drone was found next to a gas compressor station owned by Russia's energy giant Gazprom. This is over 600 kilometers from Ukrainian territory if it was sent from the territory of Ukraine. People have been quick to speculate over the authenticity, especially of this image, ranging all the way saying the crash site shows no impact marks in the snow, stating that Russia is potentially setting a false flag, to the idea that these drones could not possibly make it through air defense. Now, local authorities in Russia's Belgorod and Bryansk oblasts also reported drone crashes on February the 27th and 28th. Murat Kompolov, the head of the Republic of Adygea, said an unidentified aircraft fell in his region as well. On the same day, the airspace over St. Petersburg was closed due to an unidentified object, and in the city of Tuapse, 300 miles, which is about 500 kilometers from Ukrainian territory, a fire broke out at an oil depot. Now, Russian media have reported that early Tuesday morning, drones armed with explosives also slammed into the Rosneft oil depot. Astra News outlet reported the drone strikes hit the boiler room of the depot, while the administration of Tuapse claimed the drones did not strike oil tanks, saying there is no oil spill. There are no victims. Ukraine has not yet commented on any of these incidents. And that's all I've got for you today. So if you'd like to support me, there's links down below, but never feel obliged. So thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. Look after yourselves and have a great day. Okay, bye-bye.